no matter how many changes you make on the outside? What if the key to unlocking that resistance lies not in your circumstances, but in your earliest emotional blueprint, your relationship with your mother? Carl Jung believed that until we understand this foundational influence, we remain trapped in cycles of fear, insecurity, and longing. This video is not about blame. It's about clarity, about reclaiming your narrative from its very first page. Before we begin, if you find value in this kind of deep, transformative knowledge, be sure to subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and turn on notifications. You can also join our Telegram community to receive early access to videos and exclusive insights on personal and spiritual growth. Now let's dive in. From the moment we come into the world, the mother becomes our first point of reference, our emotional compass. Carl Jung viewed her not just as a person, but as a powerful archetype, a deep psychological image imprinted in our unconscious mind. This archetype shapes how we experience love, safety, identity, and connection. Whether our mothers were nurturing or distant, generous or critical, the emotional imprint they leave is like the opening line of a book. It defines the tone for everything that follows. The relationship with the mother is never just about childhood memories. It silently influences our adult relationships, our sense of worth, and even the way we treat ourselves. And the most profound part, most of us carry this influence without even realizing it. So as we move forward, let's explore how this emotional blueprint continues to echo through your life, often in subtle but powerful ways. You may not remember every detail of your early relationship with your mother, but your body and psyche do. Emotional patterns form long before we can name them. That's why, in adulthood, we sometimes find ourselves repeating choices that don't align with who we truly are. Jung taught that unresolved dynamics with the mother archetype live on in the form of projections. You might find yourself seeking approval from people who remind you of her, or avoiding conflict to keep peace, just as you may have done growing up. These behaviors aren't random. They're scripts written by unspoken emotional contracts. You may not consciously choose them, but they guide you all the same. This brings us to a deeper layer, the invisible weight of unmet childhood needs and how they quietly shape your adult relationships and sense of self. Even in seemingly happy upbringings, expectations can leave lasting imprints. Maybe love was conditional, based on achievement, obedience, or emotional restraint. Maybe affection came with pressure, or silence was rewarded more than honesty. When this happens, children learn that being loved requires effort, sacrifice, or perfection. That belief doesn't disappear with age. It turns into a lifelong pursuit of validation, success, or acceptance. And no matter how much you achieve, it never feels like enough. This creates a void that can't be filled externally. It's not a matter of doing more. It's about understanding the roots of that emptiness. And just before we continue, if this video is helping you see things more clearly, consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you'd like to support this kind of thoughtful content, you can click the thanks button below. Your support truly helps. Now let's continue. So how do we begin to free ourselves from the emotional residue of the past? Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming whole. It's about discovering who you truly are beneath the roles you learn to play for love, approval, or protection. This doesn't mean cutting ties or erasing your past. It means seeing your mother as a full human being, complex, flawed, shaped by her own wounds, not a symbol of perfection or a source of blame. Ask yourself, who am I when I stop performing, when I no longer try to be what others expect? This is where individuation begins, and often the answer is buried beneath years of self-protection. To bring that transformation into your external world, you must also recognize where you're projecting your mother's role onto others. Many people unknowingly carry their mother's image into every significant relationship. A partner becomes the one who should make you feel safe. A boss becomes the one whose approval you crave. But these are echoes, not present truths. When we project, we hand over the responsibility for our healing to others. The shift begins when we reclaim it. Instead of expecting others to mother us, we learn to do it ourselves. We listen inward. We offer ourselves the compassion, structure, and safety we once longed for. And with that awareness, we begin to reclaim authorship of our own lives. Insight alone isn't enough. Healing requires action. It happens in small, conscious choices we make each day. Start by noticing your emotional triggers. When you feel overwhelmed, ask, is this really about now, or is something older being stirred? Write it down, speak it aloud. Let it come into the light. Make time for honest solitude. When your inner critic speaks, question whether it truly belongs to you or whether it's inherited. As you bring these patterns into awareness, you gain the freedom to choose differently. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about reconnecting with who you've always been, beneath the layers of adaptation. Gradually, you'll notice something shifting. You stop chasing validation. You stop performing. You begin to feel a deeper self-respect. Challenges still arise, but they no longer control your self-worth. You realize that your mother gave you the first chapter, but the rest of the book is yours to write. Her influence helped shape you, but it no longer defines you. And when you stop seeing her as a symbol and start seeing her as a person, compassion replaces blame. Understanding replaces confusion. The mother is no longer a shadow. You carry her lessons, but not her weight. When you bring conscious attention to the mother wound, you don't just heal yourself. You interrupt cycles of inherited pain. You shift what gets passed forward. Jung taught that healing happens not through rejection, but integration. Through seeing clearly, feeling deeply, and choosing intentionally. So ask yourself now, what part of your story are you ready to reclaim? What patterns are you finally ready to release? If this message spoke to you, let us know in the comments below. Your reflections help others feel less alone in their journey. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and become part of a community that values depth, clarity, and emotional freedom. Because in the end, healing doesn't begin with forgetting your mother. It begins with understanding her. And when you do, your true life begins.